Hi Trevor, good morning. I promised I'd record you a little video just to show you how easy it is to bring in a ball. So I've got these table tennis pictures and you can see this image here. She's in quite a nice position, but there's no ball in the shot. If I look a few frames up, there's a nice ball in the shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball from this image and we're going to put it into this image. So the first thing to do is to open them both up in Photoshop, which I've already done. I'm going to drag Photoshop onto this screen now. I'm sure you know how to do that. If you don't, then just give me a ring. But there they are. There's the image without the ball in Photoshop, and there's the image with the ball in Photoshop. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to obviously work on the image with the ball. And if you use the lasso tool here, just pick up the lasso tool and drop a quick selection around the ball, like that. And once you've got it, go to the move tool and pick it up and drag it like this up to the second image, up to the tab. Can you see what I've done? I've dragged it up to the tab, and once the tab's open, the image I'm on, I drag in and drop, and there's the ball. Alright, simple as. So I'll do it again. I'll get rid of that layer. Okay, forget this panel down here, Trevor. This is a panel called the TK Action panel. It just makes Photoshop actions really easy, but don't let it confuse you. Everything I do, if I do use this panel down here, you can just as easily do within the standard Photoshop panel. So let's go back, let's do it again. Let's step back up the history channel to get rid of that selection. So here's what we do. We click the lasso tool, we drop a rough selection around the image, around the bit we want, like that. We've selected it, we go to the move tool, we pick it, left click and drag, left click, drag up to the image we want to load into, just up to the tab there, and you see it opened up. Then drag down and let go of the left click, and there's the ball. Okay, what we're going to do now is, obviously we've got some background that we don't want around the ball. So the way we get rid of this extra blue background that we don't want is we create a layer mask. And the layer mask symbol is here. It's a little washing machine symbol. So making sure, good idea to label this actually. This is the layer with the ball. So as you get more and more layers, then it becomes more difficult to remember what you've done. So we now know this is the layer with the new ball. So making sure that layer is selected, we add a layer mask by clicking that symbol, the washing machine symbol. And now can you see a layer mask has come up. Now the thing with layer masks, as you probably know, is anything white reveals, anything black conceals. So making sure the layer mask is selected, we go down here, we make sure we've got black selected, we pick up a brush, and we make sure that we're painting at 100% opacity, full opacity. And we want the brush quite hard actually, because this has got a very, well, really sort of 3/4 hard, because a ball has got a very defined edge to it. We don't want it too hard because you know, the things move in, so it gives the game away if we have it too hard. You want a reasonably soft edge. So I'd say somewhere around about there. Okay, click off that. Right, now watch what happens. With black selected, I'm going to go to my Wacom tablet now. That's the way I do detailed stuff. With black selected, I'm going to increase the size of my brush, and if you look with black selected, making sure I work on the mask is selected. If I just draw across that in black, look, it's gone. Because, and can you see that little black line there? And that's because black conceals and white reveals. Well, that's obviously no good at all. So what we're going to go is go back up the layer stack, back up the history channel here and go back to where we were. And now you can imagine all we're going to do is we're just going to nibble away at this extraneous background to get rid of it. Okay, and when we get close, we're going to have to zoom in. So Z key, zoom in. Okay, and you can see that the edge of this ball is not sharp. I mean, because it's a reasonably noisy image anyway, because it's low light. Now the good thing is, because the ball was on a blue background already, the same blue background, which of course would apply to most of your cricket shots or rugby shots, it'll be grass behind it, then I don't have to be super accurate, because any remaining blue will not show up. But can you see I'm just nibbling around the edges? I'm doing this freehand. I use a Wacom tablet for all my delicate drawing work. Okay, and if I want to see if I've missed any, if you just press the backslash key, making sure the layer mask selected, look what it does. It puts up a lovely little red mask to give you a clue. So as I say, I don't want to go too close, because if I go too close with too hard a brush, it'll give the game away. The ball, it will just stand out that it's been cut in. And just take your time, nibble around the edges, and you know, you'll have to consider where the light was coming from, whether you want any blur on the ball, you know, all the things that you already know. To get rid of that mask, I backslash off, and now let's go back to full size, which on the TK action panel is there, and there it is, full size. Right, actually I've put it in a reasonable position, but let's suppose I hadn't. If we make sure that the object is selected, do you see what I did? I clicked up here, make sure it's selected, grab the move tool, and now watch. Wow, look at that. Now can you see that the minute that I move the ball onto something without the blue background, then obviously I would have had to get a lot closer, because it stands out, doesn't it? So you'd have had to go in with your brush and get a black brush and get closer and closer until you don't see anything in the background. But the beauty is here, and this is very often the case I find, the background is because you've shot the ball in the same situation, haven't you? You just picked a ball from a different frame. But the great thing here, look, as long as I put it on that blue background, it's inconceivable. So obviously the thing to do, I don't need to tell you, is you've got to look at her eyes and imagine where the ball might be. It's clearly, looking at her eyes, it's going to be down here somewhere, isn't it? And we can put it exactly where, now that would be obvious because she'd be raising the bat by then. So if I was putting this in, I mean, it'd be a silly one to use, because why would you, you know, there's no drama in it, is there? But I would say about there, and I would say that looks believable. And so now all I need to do is save that image, give it something, an appropriate name. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to take up room on my hard drive, but I would just go up here, File, Save As, and give it a name. Save it as a PSD Photoshop file, because that means you could then go in later on and move the ball about. You know, as long as you don't flatten these layers, you're still in complete control of this, and you could go in and move it about. Okay, so it's as simple as that, mate. Really simple technique.